The Patrolmen's Benevolent Association on October 24th rallied outside of a public school in Rockaway where the mayor was holding a town hall meeting to protest their contract situation and to demand that the mayor come back to the bargaining table. This would not have been surprising. The PBA has done this at other mayoral appearances, including his daily workout at his gym at a YMCA in Park Slope, except for the fact that in late summer, the Public Employment Relations Board, which is the state agency that governs PBA arbitrations, had declared that a bargaining impasse existed and granted the PBA's request for arbitration. And so the question becomes, if the PBA was so eager to get to arbitration, why is it suddenly calling on the mayor to get back to the bargaining table? The answers may lie in a couple of developments. The first of which is that the United Federation of Teachers, as we speak, which is on October the 31st, is returning its ballots on a contract agreement, which are supposed to be counted November 2nd, and it is generally believed that the contract is going to be easily ratified. That would further cement the pattern that was first set by District Council 37, reaching terms with the mayor back in June, and it would make it more difficult to expect that an arbitration panel is going to give the PBA anything above that pattern, particularly not the kind of ambitious demands that the PBA is asking for to try and get salary up to what state troopers are being paid while working in New York City, sometimes in the same areas that are being patrolled by NYPD officers. And so that that's one factor that may have Mr. Lynch eager to get back to the bargaining table rather than waiting for the arbitration. The other is that delays in the process, which is still being delayed by the fact that the PBA is objecting to Bob Lynn being the city's representative on the arbitration panel at the same time that he's labor commissioner, is in front of a judge, and the judge would have to rule on that. And if precedent is any guide, the judge is probably going to nullify that bid by the PBA to have Mr. Lynn declared a non-starter because of a supposed conflict of interest. It came up once before for a 2015 arbitration, and in that case, the PBA took the complaint to PERB, which referred it to the arbitration panel chairman, Howard Edelman, and Edelman ultimately ruled that there was no conflict and they had to go ahead, and the PBA did not get what it wanted in that arbitration. But the fact that things have stretched out the way that they have means that more than likely the earliest that you would be seeing an award would be probably in the vicinity of a year from now, which creates something of a political problem for Pat Lynch. He is running for re-election for a 5th term next June, and there's a real question as to how the members would react if, come that time, there is no contract in place and they're being told by him, don't worry, we're going to get something better once the arbitration ruling comes down. He had opposition the last time he ran in 2015 for the first time since winning his 2nd term in 2003, and it's likely that he would have opposition once again, particularly if there is no contract in place. And so that it suddenly has become something where, for political reasons, he has an incentive to try and get a deal sooner than that. The big question is, can he get something that will satisfy his members without going above the basic terms of the UFT deal, which averages about 2% annually over a 43-month period? And the answer is very possibly, simply because there are bonuses that are being paid to UFT members if they agree to work in hard-to-staff schools, and those bonuses could go as high as $8,000. There is also going to be additional responsibility given to some teachers who act as kind of lead teachers mentoring less experienced instructors, and they are paid more for that work. Lynch in the past has been reluctant to give any extra money to one group without giving it to everybody, which was why under the last contract there is a 2.25% additional salary increase for every one of his members that is supposedly tied to the neighborhood policing program, but a fair number of those cops are not on patrol and are not directly involved in neighborhood policing in any way. And so it just becomes a question of how he manages to structure that. It won't be a huge amount, most likely, but it would be something that would allow him to say that we got something beyond the basic pattern. And so we will see what happens. The one thing the PBA promised at the end of its rally last week, after the mayor walked past and went into the school without acknowledging them, was they'll be back. And they most certainly will.